Hello, everyone. Um, so I'm sorry. Okay. So it is my honor to present you the Impact Award Presentation Techniques fourth seminar of the Aspire for Impact project, which is done with the collaboration of 1511 Rolling Thunder, 3990 Tech for Kids, 5614 Team Sycamore, 6429 Fourth Dimension, 6652 Tigres, and 6865 Manitola Metal. So, once again, welcome to the Aspire for Impact seminar series, where Impact Award World Championship finalist teams try to assist those are in need of mentorship. So, all of these seminars will be conducted on Sundays at 11 a.m. with Eastern Standard Time, and the next seminar will be on pit presentation techniques on 8th of December next week. So please be aware that all of these meetings will be recorded and all of the collaborating teams, these teams who are presenting, keep the right to publish them on their social media platforms like Instagram or YouTube. Um, but no personal information such as your name, your team number, your team's name will not be published. However, if you wish to ask any question, we then keep the right to publish it too. Speaking of questions, as always, we are here to help you. We are here to give you some assistance. So if you have any questions, any kind of questions related to the topic or not, please don't feel any hesitation to ask them, but we would kindly ask you to wait until the end of the seminars so the speaker won't be interrupted. So without further ado, let's hear it from them. 1511.
Yep, so I'm Joey from 1511. We were finalists in 2022, and we're really excited to be here and present about the importance of theme today.
So I'm the only presenter of 6429 Fourth Dimension for today. We won the championship First Impact Award finalist in 2022 and 2024.
Hi, I'm Yari. I'm from Tigre 6652, and we were 22 finalists.
Hi everyone. I'm Alex from Manitoulin Metal. We are based in Ontario, Canada, and I'm here with my partner, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Hi guys, I'm Dylan. Um, I'm in grade 10, also on 6865.
And I'm Yana Bauer. I'm lead mentor 6865.
So let's have a quick look over today's agenda, what each team will present. As 6429, we will present getting ready for the presentation. But firstly, let's have a look over the general outline of the presentation. As 6429, we perceive the Impact Award presentation as the perfect opportunity to shine. This is where you get the chance and probably the only chance of one-to-one interaction with the Impact Award judge. Of course, the impact essay and the executive summaries, which we elaborated on last weekend, is crucial, is essential, but the impact award presentation interview plays a whole another level, a whole another role, a whole another level of importance in the first impact award. So, this is where you have the chance to answer the question, what makes you stand out? you have to, as we explained in the previous seminar, you should have an answer for that in your impact essay, but where you get the chance to fully answer that is the presentation. So we compare the impact award presentation interview with a thesis defense. You have your thesis, you have stated in the written article you sent, your impact award essay, and this is where you get to defend that. So the whole presentation must be done in under 12 minutes, because the impact judge is a bit strict about that to avoid any kind of unfair advantage, unfair competence. So you will only have 7 minutes. This includes setup for the main presentation. So for my knowledge, it used to be you used to have a specific time for the setup, but that they changed that. Now you have to have your presentation and the setup under 7 minutes. And in these 7 minutes, you will not be interrupted. Only you will speak. So please don't pose any questions to the judge, or don't wait for any kind of reaction. Although they admire your work and they admire you throughout the presentation, they will not give any reactions to your to what you say. So please don't wait any, because they are not allowed to interrupt. And this in this 7 minutes, this is where you get to present your general content, what you've done, what you want to underscore between what you've done in the entire year and in the past 3 years. But the Q&A session should be under 5 minutes. But if you wish to end your presentation under 7 minutes, that extra time can be added to the 5 minute. But this 5 minutes will be led by the judge, so they will pose you questions where you get to speak upon your additional content, and they will have to, they have the right to interrupt you between your answers, so you can be ready for that also. So, you have to be 3 things in the impact award presentation. You have to be confident. My mentor used to always say, my youth mentor used to always say, if you see yourself in here and there, the impact award judges are here. If you see yourself here, then they will see you here, below what you truly are. But if you see them above, but if you see yourself above them, then they will look you like you're much greater than what you truly are. So you have to be confident. One of the speakers said that in the past weeks, impact award presentation, like the whole impact award, is not a place to be humble, and I couldn't agree more. You have to be proud of your work. This is the place where you get to say, yes, we won the award. We are the true winners of this award. And here's why. The impact award presentation has to explain that. And you have to be, of course, consistent throughout the presentation, and don't have any don't have any kind of false information, and don't have any kind of a project and outreach which you haven't documented yet. So the actual getting ready for the presentation part, of course, firstly, you have to submit the essay and the executive summary to be eligible to present at the regional or the championship event. So the most important part for me is to select team attributes and the outreach to present. Because as we said, you will only have 7 minutes to talk about your whole past 3 years, and it will definitely not be enough. So you have to sort and then list what you want to go through in your presentation. And then you should start writing a script, which clearly has the cause and effect relationships throughout the text, which we have discussed on the previous seminar. And then you should, after you're done with the text, with the script, which you want to present, and you have them ordered, you have your script and what you will say in the presentation ready, you should start decorating your presentation. This is my favorite part because you get to add some, this is very personal with the team. You can prepare some booklets. You can have some kind of props, or like in the past years we've done some experiments in the interview. So this is where you get to show your personality, not just as a team but the presenter also, and you get to decorate and have a more memorable presentation. And then the last three, as you can see, practice, practice, practice. You should practice over and over and over for weeks. I remember having dreams where I was practicing the impact of work presentation, because you have to know every sentence word by word, and by the time probably you will start remembering what the other presenters and the presentation is also saying. And when you're done with the memorization, when you're confident with your memory, then you should start practicing with a timer, because your first goal should be memorizing what you have, and then if you have some problems, issues with the timer, then you should like pick some content and just delete them, or maybe if you have some extra time, then you can consider adding some additional content. And then lastly, you have to practice for the Q&A. We will talk about that in this slide, because as we said, 7 minutes is for the main presentation and the 5 minutes is only for the Q&A, so you have to be ready for that too. So here are some quick tips, but the reminder, what I want to most emphasize in this whole presentation is that be sure that you did your best. Try to embrace that and remind that to yourself throughout the year, throughout the process. So another team is talking about the stress today, so I will not deeply get into that, but try to remind that to yourself that you did your best, because nobody said it's going to be easy. This is an overwhelming process, but knowing that you did you did your best, and reminding that to yourself always comforts you, and this is kind of a motivation. This should be a motivation for you too. And then you should do some research before writing the script and after you think you're ready with the script, because there are tons of resources in both the official website of firstinspires.org, and there are tons of content of impact essays, impact videos, impact presentation videos of the past winners. And then you can go up on chiefdelphi.com and you can learn about what other people did, what other people say, what other people advise and not advise. So you can have a better understanding, because this usually allows you to have another perspective. And then you should have some mock Q&A sessions with your teammates, with your mentors, because this allows you to be more confident, be more prepared in the actual day of the presentation. You can acquire these questions through the internet. As I said, there are tons of content, but you can also consult to your past presenters of your team. So once you think you're ready, you should get some feedback, because I always say, first, there is no such thing as a first FRC lesson, or there is no thing such as your first teacher that may translate to your lead mentors. So you have to be open to any kind of suggestions, you have to be open to any kind of feedback, and you should try to get feedback from as much as people as you can. This can be your mentors, as your lead mentors, your past presenters, your youth mentors, or these can be just regular people in the business world, or just any people who are familiar with the concept of a presentation, because these opinions usually essentially help. And then lastly, you have to double, triple, and quadruple check you have all of your things when you're going to your event at the day of the presentation. Because I personally had a bad experience with that. As I said, we had an experiment and we forgot the chemicals at our hotel, and we had to go back and get the chemicals. So that was stressful, and I don't want any of you to have a bad experience like that, because the impact of word presentation with the judges is not that terrifying at all. It's usually a much more funnier experience than some people think, because once you get out of the presentation, you realize how sweet actually the judges, how excellent things went, how what you worked has blossomed and come to fruition. So you should have your last checks, be prepared, and then just go do what you do the best. And lastly, let's have a quick look over how does fourth dimension present the impact presentation. So we first start by introducing the team and the theme. So as I said, it's not just a place to mention your projects, but about your team structure. So you should talk about your team and elaborate on your theme you're using also in the presentation, if you are using any. And after that, we start, this is a personal outline. You may choose to use this, you may choose to use another, you may choose to create your own, but we usually go by this. We start by introducing the sustainable projects, because usually the judges are much more familiar with these projects, especially in our regional events, because the judges usually don't change for the impact award presentation throughout the years. So we start by introducing our sustainable projects and give the new data, new tangible outreach data, which we have done in the past 3 years. And then we introduce our new projects where we notice that the judge is taking notes faster and faster. And then we get to mention what we call the peak projects, what we believe is the most effective, has the most impact, most impactful projects, which we've done usually, generally, and what we prefer to be in the last year, because it affects the judges much more. The peak projects, in which we have the highest outreach, in which we have fundraised the most amount of money, in which we believe we have created a much more significant impact. And then we have the closing eulogy. As we said, this is not a place to be humble, even though I even though most of the people will find it rude, will find it not polite at least, to be like telling yourself of almost like you're talking of like a worldwide known business business company. You have to be like that because this is not a place to be humble, and that's the end of our presentation for this week. And thank you for listening. 1511.
Yes, thank you, Demir. Okay, so as I said before, I'm Joey from 1511 Rolling Thunder, and I'm here with Charlie from 1511. And we're here to talk to you about the importance of theme when planning your impact presentation and how it helps you during the actual thing when you're presenting in the room. Not every team incorporates a theme into their presentation. It is completely optional, but we find on 1511 that theme is a great way to help your presentation move along smoothly. So that's it. So Charlie will tell you more about the role of theme.
Yeah, so the role of theme in a presentation. So first off, when you're planning the presentation and writing the script for it, you're going to want to have a structure for the presentation, and basing it off of a theme provides an excellent framework for your presentation, no matter what you're talking about. So having a theme will guide writing the script and also guide you while you're presenting so that you have a nice framework to work with when you're putting all of your information into a presentation and want to get it across to the judges in the best way that you can. So another thing that's important about a theme, and probably one of the most important things, is that it engages the judges. So during a presentation, having a good theme will keep the judges interested in what you're talking about and make them excited to ask questions, because your presentation, it's 7 minutes long, and you don't want the judges to be bored after having to sit through a lot of presentations throughout the day. So you want them to be interested by your theme and what you're talking about so that they're interested in it and are excited about it, but they also, after your presentation's done, they still remember you because of the information that you talked about and also the fun theme that you had. In addition to just keeping the judges interested, the theme will also keep the presenters interested in their work, and it will become this conduit for enthusiasm where it makes everyone in the presentation feel enthusiastic about it and excited about everything they're talking about, so that it will aid the presenters when they're going through their script and talking about the team, and will just make everything be more fun overall. And lastly, a theme plays an important role in pacing the presentation. So what we mean is that aside from just providing the framework of what information to talk about, it also will regulate the flow of information in the presentation to make sure that nothing is talked about like too quickly and nothing is too slow. So there's kind of a balance in how long you're talking about everything so that the presentation can be 7 minutes long while still having a theme and being engaging for the judges.
Yep. So thank you, Charlie. So how does theme help your presentation and makes it easier for you to present? How does it make it easier for you to present? So first and foremost, having a theme will make your presentation memorable. The judges to whom you are presenting have most likely already sat through a dozen or more presentations from other teams, and having a theme will make you stand out against the rest. It makes it memorable, like Charlie touched on earlier. So afterwards, when the judges are making their decision, your team's theme might trigger a memory for them that will give you a better chance. So they might think of something that you said that was really engaging, and it's backed up by this theme that you have. Themed presentations also embrace the fun core value of FIRST. I mean, it's all about having fun, and this is a great way to facilitate that. So the impact presentation is FIRST's way of seeing how enthusiastic team students really are, and having a theme will definitely help your presentation become more fun for both the presenters and the judges. So a theme can also help relieve the pressure and stress that gets put on the presenters. Not only does having a theme help the presenters remember the script better, so they feel more sure of themselves, but it also gives them the opportunity to tell the judges about their team in a fun and engaging way. So it's also important to mention here that themes should be can be unique to your team, like really expressing those unique elements, what makes your team stand out. So every FIRST team has something unique about them, and really bring that out in theme. So lastly, themed presentations give you an easier time in planning and creating the presentation. So it makes it actually easier for individual students to pick things to say that they are more excited about. And it's generally easier to create lines for the script when they are backed up by a solid theme. Again, providing the framework, just helping you out in creating your script. And so in short, theme helps your presentation a great deal in a variety of ways, both during the planning process and the actual impact presentation. So now that you understand how theme helps you and what's its role when you're planning and doing the actual presentation, how do you come up with a good theme? So
Yes. Okay, so to help you understand the theme creation process, here's our example from what 1511 did last year. So we themed our presentation around the movie Back to the Future, which, if you don't know, it's a popular movie in the United States. I don't know if it's popular in other countries as well as much, but here in the United States, the judges all knew what the movie was and have heard of it or seen it before. So we used Back to the Future as a theme to guide our presentation, and how it worked for us was that our presenters were they pretended to be stuck in the past when our team started, and they had to get back to the future by talking about our team and giving information and telling the judges about everything that our team did. So during the presentation, we used a couple of quotes from the movie too to keep the judges engaged, and we also, as you can see in the picture here, we had costumes, we dressed up as the characters from the movie. And to move the presentation along, we had these 3 thunderbolts, which we call them, and they slowly got charged throughout the presentation when we kept talking to the judges about the different things that 1511 did. So it helped keep the judges interested and let them keep wanting to know what's going to happen during the presentation, and it let them be excited in it. So these are all things to keep in mind if you're trying to come up with a theme. It should be something that's well known to the judges. So, for example, Back to the Future, at least where we're from, all the judges knew what it was. And it should also be something that's engaging and fun, while also not going to be too distracting from the content of what you're going to be talking about, or annoying in any way like that. So the best thing that the Back to the Future theme was for us is that it guided us through the presentation, but we didn't overuse it. So we didn't really just sit there and describe the plot of the movie. We kind of used the theme of the movie to guide our presentation and have a way for us to talk about everything that 1511 does, while also making the presentation fun for the judges. So to wrap it up, Joey will be giving you a few key tips on how to make theme an integral part of your presentation.
Yep, so just to wrap it up here with 1511's presentation. So your theme should not distract from your presentation. That's the main thing. So the 3 things it does is it should structure your presentation, engage the judges, and keep the presenters and everyone really enthusiastic. But it's important not to get too wrapped up in the theme. So if you overuse the theme of your presentation, the actual information that you're trying to get across might get lost along the way, and the judges may end up spending their time trying to understand references instead of listening. And that's really the last thing that you want to happen. You don't want to make so many references and get really wrapped up in the theme that you kind of just lose the thread of the presentation. So another thing to avoid is theme obscurity. You want the judges to know your theme well. The theme doesn't have to be a movie or television show as we did, but it shouldn't be something that the judges don't know, or the theme that you tried so hard to incorporate into your presentation will completely lose its meaning. So if you're still stuck on creating a theme, think of something that would be a unique way to tell information, like examining objects in an art museum or clues in an escape room. So this brings me to my next point, which is to use props, that is, items the presenters bring with them into the judging room, to enhance the presentation. You should keep the props simple and be prepared for any mishaps, but props are a great way to help bring your theme to life. Another way to engage the judges, make it more real for them, and keep everything really fun. So last tip is try to use humor, but not too much. Humor should be naturally included in your theme. Making the judges laugh breaks tension and helps the presentation flow better, but definitely do not overuse humor. Again, the judges trying to understand jokes or references will make them lose the thread of your presentation. So that's it for us. Thank you for listening to Team 1511's presentation on the importance of theme. We'll hand it over to Team 6865 to talk about handling presentation stress. Thank you.
Thank you for that great presentation. So Team 6865, we are talking about handling presentation stress. And stress can be like probably one of the biggest barriers that teams can face when presenting impact. And we're going to talk a little bit about ways that you can prevent that or help cope with it. So why do we feel stressed while we're presenting? Well, you might perceive pressure from yourself or even from your team, and that pressure may or may not be there in reality, but you can definitely still feel it. Now, things to keep in mind when you're dealing with this pressure is to remember that your team is there to support you and that there is no I in team. You are not solely solely the only person responsible for your team success. It's a team effort. Secondly, fear of failure can cause stress while you're presenting. So it's normal to want to have a desire to succeed, but when it gets out of hand, it can impact your presentation. And you need to accept that failing is a part of life and that everything that's truly important in your life is not hinging on you giving this perfect, spectacular, flawless presentation. A good thing to keep in mind is that every team that is presenting has done something to deserve this award, and not succeeding and winning does not reflect badly on you at all. And so worrying about failing before you have even presented is pointless. I know it's hard not to, though. And just keep in mind that if you do end up not succeeding in the way that you wanted to, this gives you an opportunity to learn from others and keep pushing forward, ultimately adapting a better presentation. And this kind of ties into a growth mindset. So, yeah, we haven't won impact yet. Like, you have to keep telling yourself that and be positive. And now there are a lot of controllable and uncontrollable factors that you can be stressing about when giving this presentation, because there's like a lot of elements that go into giving presentations, like all your preparation and stuff like that, and making sure things run smoothly. So some of these things are in your control, and those are absolutely valid to worry about, but a lot of them are out of your control. And if something is out of your control, it's best not to spend too much time worrying about it, because there's absolutely nothing you can do to change the results of something that you can't control. If they are in your control, it does make sense to worry about them a bit, but you can't let it focusing on one controllable factor in your presentation take away from the others. And you need to just keep in mind what's important and look at your presentation holistically instead of focusing on one tiny detail that maybe not be going how you want it to be. And now I'm going to pass this off to Dylan to present our next slide.
All right. Okay, so there's a few tips you can do before the presentation. So it's important to realize, 1 second, my camera's not working right now. It's important to realize that your brain reacts to your body and your body reacts to your brain. So there's a couple ways to calm both your body and your brain down. So to calm your body down, try to find a way to release your nerves. For 6865, we sing. Another easy way to calm down is to take deep breaths in and out. As well, you should try to find some sort of distraction. So again, singing or playing a game or talking to your teammates. And lastly, you can meditate if nothing else works to get your body in a calmer state. To calm your brain down, you should first talk it out with other people. So a mentor, your peers, or yourself. Let people know how you're feeling. Next, address why you're stressed. What's making you feel this way? Is it the pressure of letting your teammates down? Some kind of fear of failure? So lastly, you want to rationalize this fear to yourself. Last year, I was called last minute to present impact because one of my teammates was not able to come to competition. I was terrified that I was not going to do well. But when I really thought about it, I realized that I had 2 other presenters with me to help if I had any trouble. So there was no real reason to be nervous. Again, and also, what's the worst that can happen? You might mess up and lose, but it's not the end of the world. You just need to do your best, and the rest is out of your hands. And then I'll pass it back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Dylan. Next slide, please. Thank you. All right, so also things to keep in mind before your presentation. So nerves are really like heightened right before. Like I remember like standing outside the room before we're going in to present. I'm like doing anything to kind of keep my mind off it. I'm like doing jumping jacks or like wall sitting and singing with my other presenters. It's a really nerve-wracking time, and there's just things that you need to do to feel as prepared as possible to kind of limit that, even though it's really hard to avoid feeling super nervous on something you've spent so much time and effort of the last couple of months putting into. So as was said in our first presentation, practice, practice, practice. And to diminish any uncertainties you have, it's really important that you know your presentation like back and forth. And this will just help you feel a lot better going into the room than if you feel unprepared. So a good like benchmark I'd say of how you feel, like how you know you're prepared as possible, is when you feel that way. Like you don't go into the room wondering what if, or you don't know your lines or something like that. Additionally, you need to problem solve beforehand. This was also a point in one of the previous presentations. And so organizing any documents, posters, and materials you bring into the presentation is very helpful before you go in. So if you have like a poster you need to set that up outside the room so you aren't really nervous when you're being watched by the judges setting things up and stuff like that. So we have kind of a funny story of when we were not prepared, and this was very scary for us. So this was our second year doing Impact, and we made it to Worlds, which was really crazy. And so here we are in this place that we've never been, in this huge building, and we know we have to present Impact in half an hour. And so we start making our way up to the room because it's a really big venue. So we were like, well, we might as well find this room before so we don't get lost or anything like that. And it might even just take us half an hour to walk up there because the building's like a whole block wide. And so we get up there and we're like, wait, we don't have our USB with our Impact video. And this was when you had to bring a USB with you to the presentation. You couldn't turn your video in online. And if you didn't have that USB, you could not present, like you'd be disqualified. And so we were all freaking out. We were panicking. We had no idea where this USB was. We were searching and everything like that. And by some miracle, we were able to get a new USB. I'm pretty sure it was from one of like the like merch stands that were there, like with the companies, and someone had to download an app onto their phone, upload the video to that, and then download that to the USB, all within this very short time period. And so me and all the other presenters, we were trying not to panic. We were going through our presentation like everything was completely normal. And we eventually had this USB, and we like just in time. Like we got it like 2 minutes before we had to go into the presentation. And so just something to take away from that is even when things feel like they are like wildly going wrong, it's important to stay focused on what you are doing in the moment and calm yourself down by either preparing more or just trying not to worry about things that are out of your control. And so we found where that USB was, and it was left at the hotel. And we have never let the mentor who left the USB live it down. It is a running joke every single year. And now it's a really funny story for our team. And it's just looking at things like that are really stressful in the moment. you need to kind of take a step back. And even if things do go wrong, just remember, like, it's not the end of the world. You aren't gonna die. Sorry. You aren't gonna die, and it will be a funny story later. I know it can be really either disappointing or scary in the moment, but it's just important to keep in mind, like, things that are truly important. And now I'm gonna pass this off to Dylan. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. So during the presentation, there are a few tips to help you. Firstly, slow it down. People who are nervous tend to speak a lot faster. This can make it very hard to enunciate your words and make it much more likely to make some sort of mistake or slip. To prevent this, you can speak slower during practice runs. It can sound weird in the moment, but when you're doing it, like you present how you practice. Also, it's a good idea to leave some time left in your presentation so you feel comfortable that you have enough time for questions, or just in general, you won't run out of time. Next, confidence is key. When you look confident to your judge, it automatically makes you present better. But sometimes you aren't confident, so you have to fake it. To do this, stand up straight with good posture. There's no hunching over or drop shoulders, anything like that. You need to make sure to smile lots when you're speaking, when you're not speaking, and speak loudly and clearly while enunciating your words. Back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Dylan. And just to add on to Dylan's point, if you are excited about your presentation and you show that you're excited about your presentation, the judges will also be excited about your presentation, and it'll make it that much more memorable. All right, now we're ready for the next slide. Thank you. All right, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog barking in the background. I'm really sorry about that. So here's just some general advice that we have from our team to keep your nerves down during the presentation. So if you make a mistake, it won't ruin your presentation, and most of the time it will go unnoticed. Like, the most memorable part of your presentation isn't going to be when you slipped up on a word or anything like that, and it'll be forgotten within the next 2 minutes, I promise you. Additionally, you need to tell yourself positive things and keep the negative self-talk away. So if you are constantly saying to yourself, like, oh, I'm so nervous, I can't do this, like, I haven't had enough time to prepare, like, I don't think I know my lines, then you're going to do bad if you keep telling yourself that you're going to do bad. If you say you're going to do good, this will give you a confidence boost. You're saying, like, I can do this. Like, we have this presentation down pat. We're going to knock it out of the park. Stuff like that. You will do way better because you already have that confidence, and you have limited your self-doubt by telling yourself that you're going to do amazing. Additionally, like, with this, you need to visualize yourself doing well in the presentation before you present. So, like, closing your eyes and imagining yourself just giving this mind-blowing presentation will really help you step into that. And additionally, like, that really important confidence piece, this will help with that. It's like when you're doing any sport, you want to visualize yourself doing well in the sport, and that way you'll do better. And lastly, this presentation is a celebration of your team, of what your team has done, and it doesn't matter how well you do, because you know that your team has done these incredible things, and you really need to congratulate yourself on the hard work that you've put into this and the hard work that your team has put into this, and recognize that is what's truly important. And this will just really help you limit your nerves if you keep congratulating yourself, keep being positive and stuff like that. And that is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll take any questions at the end of the seminar.
Okay, Thank you. Hi, we're from Team 6652 Tigres, and I'm Katia. I believe I didn't present myself at the beginning, but me and my friend Yali are gonna present some other topics that are quite actually important. Okay, so this, not many teams do it, and not many teams know it, but it's actually very like life changing for us. When we started implementing these things, we won our first impact award. Was it coincidence? No, it wasn't. So first things first, grounding and mapping. This is basically like our trainings before we do our auditions. Because yes, we do auditions, mostly because we don't want to miss out on anyone. Okay. Some of the teams, or I've known that they like select like people like, okay, you and you are gonna be our team. But we believe that maybe there are people who want to participate and who want to have the opportunity. So for them to get that opportunity, we do some sessions for us to know them better and know their skill set, their passion for the team, their commitment, and just like their individual itself, right? Because that way we can do like a better choice when we gather our impact team, right? So yeah, we try to give everyone the opportunity. So we summon them to our auditions. um it's funny because our mentor used to tell us like, okay, but like how do they select the soccer team selection, right? So he told us like, okay, they summon them, they make auditions. So why should it be any different now? Because he's a very like soccer fan. So yeah. Okay, so for the audition, we also do them because we are a big team. Okay, we're more than 100 members. So um we might miss out on someone, so we do auditions. And because that impact team can change, we don't just like focus on having like three main participants that are gonna do their 3 years of high school being the impact team. We try to be more like pass on knowledge from generation to generation. So maybe there is one veteran and then two new participants, or maybe two veterans and then one new participant. So this way, when someone graduates, there will be someone that can still be impact, but can pass on that knowledge from one person to another, right? So it's like this chain of knowledge, and that way our participants can be like more like confidence, like, okay, well, this person already has done it. Maybe he knows like the path, and we are all like supporting this team, right? And it's the same for recognition team. I don't know if it's like the general name, but our recognition team is like the three impact and the backup, because we have a backup in case something happens, and our pit, because there are people on the pit that are talking about our projects and that. So this whole team is that recognition team, right? And this way we form the best combo, which is just a name, but it's basically like we select the person who's gonna be the leader of the impact team, and this way we can choose the other two to be like the the complement of this person, and they can complement each other well, right? This is like from the voice, like the tone of voice. Someone has like a good voice for sentiment, other for data, other for etc., and they get along well, right? And but mostly more than the skill set, because the skill set can be learned. Okay, you can learn to manipulate your voice, you can learn to be good with posture and body language, but it's different that passion for the team. It's different that commitment, that responsibility. That's why we need to choose wisely, because that's something that it's very hard to get sometimes. So if they have the passion, if they have the responsibility and the commitment, Anything else can be learned, and that's how we choose our best combo. And if we get to the next slide, please, it's just like some general data that oh, sorry. Well, no, the next one. Sorry. Yeah, right, this one. Our team synergy, the synergy between the impact team is very important. Okay, they need to get along well. And this is probably gonna happen throughout the process because maybe they don't know each other that well. But yeah, maybe throughout the way they get along, and that's enough for us. And then the impact team should be people actively involved in the team, right? As impact, you need to know a lot about your projects, about your initiatives, about what you are currently doing in the team, what is happening. So it's different from choosing someone who barely is active on any project than having the three people, the three impact team, to be like the leader of a project, the one who knows and everything about our sponsorships, etc. So it's very important that they are active on the team. And yeah, I believe our slides are mixed up. So if you can get to the one that says theme, yes, thank you. And now Yali.
Well, hi, I'm Yali. I'm from Tigre 6652, and today I'm going to talk about the team. As the team said before, a team is very important. We choose a team that identifies us as a team. We discuss why we relate the team to the team, and then we vote for the best one. We make the team part of our speech. For example, in 2022, as the photo, we dress up as superheroes. Tigres, the heroes of our community. And then we use several references from the team, like for example, quotes, movies, superheroes, characters, and others. Help yourself for the theme and the visuals. We use hats, capes, decorations. We dress up as the theme. For example, this year the theme was the music, and since we are Mexican, we dress up as mariachis, and we carry some vinyls to the impact room. The theme is very important because that's how the judges will remind you, and you need to be related with that, and the team needs to identify with it. Could you go to the next slide, please? The next one, that one. Thank you. Our questions and the speech. Well, before the speech, we give the judges the documentation, we prepare, we breathe, and then we start. The body language, it's very, very important because even though you're not saying anything, your face does. So that's why you need to have good expressions that match with what you're saying or what your teammates are saying. Our speech is 100% memorized. First, we memorize the whole speech, and then we try to make it natural. We match with different types of voice and of tones. Synergy in the speech also is very important because there are some parts that we need to say it at the same time. So we practice it a lot, and also we make different activities related with synergy, like games that require a teamwork in order for being well in synergy. And then questions. The questions are answered directly. And then we guide the conversation to things that you want the judges to hear, but related with the questions, because sometimes you can get lost, or also you can forget what the question was. So first answer the question directly, and then guide the conversation to things that the judges that you want the judges to hear. And finally, we have a strategy for deciding who answers the questions. We map what kind of questions each person could answer. Like for example, if I'm in one project and they ask a question related to the project, I know that I'm going to answer. But all of the teammates need to know all the information in order that if I get nervous and I confuse, my teammate can be there and be a backup if I forgot some information. And that's all from Team 6652. Thank you for listening.
So I believe that is the end of this week's seminar. So I will pause recording.